Well, what do we have here? Huh! My golly, look who we have. Wait a minute, who is this guy? Oh, wait a minute. It's... Oh, no. It's Santa hiding behind something here. My golly. Uh-oh. Well, you're in for it now, folks. Here's the so-called annual production of Twas the Night Before Christmas. All right? It's a big book. You just have to bear with me. Look at this. Look at all these pages here. All right. So I guess we might as well get on with it. I fed my reindeer this morning, just so that you are aware. And what we're going to do now is, well, just sit back and wait, of course, until it gets nice and dark so I can get the heck out of here and get on my sleigh and do some deliveries. It's kind of been tough down here all year long, being here in the stock room and with all these elves. But nevertheless, we're going to have some fun, and we better. So what it is I decided that we should go ahead and just simply, well, carry on with, well, I guess the only thing we can do is have the annual reading of "Twas the Night Before Christmas," that time-honored poem. Whoops, wait a minute, Santa has to have some more of his eggnog here. That, of course, is great because you get to have all these medicinal herbs get into your nose and sort of cleans up the sinuses. God, that's good. Hey, is that really eggnog in there, Uncle Jim? All right, so here we are in the Curmudgeon's cave. And Santa's going to go ahead and just carry on as he always does. Mainly just a bunch of babble here on Christmas Eve. So, hey, listen, just settle back and I'll do the work, okay? Don't have to worry about a thing, folks. So, a little bit of a background on this is one of the oldest and most popular Christmas poems ever. And it's commonly referred to as "Twas the Night Before Christmas." This was written, of course, in the early 19th century. The author is somewhat, well, disputed. It's, well, includes two people. One is Clement, Clarke Moore, and Henry Livingston, Jr. Down through the years, of course, it's more or less been attributed to Clement Clarke Moore. And this was first published December 23rd, 1823 in the Troy Sentinel newspaper in upstate New York. Just to give you a little background here, boys and girls, and what this is all about. Oh my goodness, I've got this great plant here. Alright, so here we go with our little production here of "Twas the Night Before Christmas." 'Twas the night before Christmas when, all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. I've been like this a lot of nights. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap, well, we'll just settle down our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. Away to the window I was, the moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. He knew all these reindeer, you know. First name basis, of course. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Dunder and Blitzen. What the heck do you have to do to get a name like Dunder? I guess he didn't like him. Must have been the runt of the litter. Oh well. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. Bossy guy, isn't he? As dry leaves before the wild hurricane fly, and when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof, ooh, the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. Woo! With all that weight, boy, he must have really did a job on that fireplace. Okay, he was dressed all in fur, from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. Years ago, that sort of reminded me coming home on a Saturday night. A bundle of toys were flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. I had a cherry nose at one time. It's gone now. Haven't had a nip, folks, for 9 years. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. That means he's a senior citizen, that is. Citizen of the world. The stump of his pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face, and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. Ho, 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 yes, indeedy. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head, oh, yes, indeedy, soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but he went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, and then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. Whoa. He sprung to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Whoa! Hey! Well, what a story, guys. Boys and girls, there it is. The annual reading by the old Curmudgeon on Christmas Eve. This, of course, being December the 24th in the year 2012, Anno Domini. And those, of course, that don't have a classic education in your schooling, that means the year 2012 in the year of our Lord, because that is the reason why we celebrate Christmas. It is the birth of Christ, as it is. And I've got a busy night ahead. I've fed my reindeer. It's amazing. I always thought they liked carrots. They did last year. Carrots and apples and stuff like that. Lately, they've been asking for odd things like gingerbread cookies, snickerdoodles. I never heard of a snickerdoodle cookie. I had to go all the way to Starbucks to get one. Get several of them, as a matter of fact. They're about $5 a piece. Oh well. One even asked for garlic. So, I don't know. Anyway, getting back to the real story here, boys and girls, and ladies and gentlemen. There's a famous story that is always told this time of the year, and it's entitled, of course, The Christmas Carol, penned by the Venerable Charles Dickens in 19th century England. Now we call it the United Kingdom. Ooh, yeah. But the main character was good old Ebenezer Scrooge. Oh boy, did he have some luggage to carry around. Boiled in your own pudding and having a sprig of holly stuck in your heart. Such wonderful terms and sentences and phrases that abound in that volume of ancient and forgotten lore, but only remembered once a year, and then of course is at Christmas time, which is right now. A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. So, Ebenezer Scrooge, being a very tight-fisted gentleman, finally decides, after all those ghosts, the ghosts of Christmas past and present and future visit him, and he, of course, gets to see the light, finally decides to go ahead and take up his nephew's invite for dinner with the family. So here comes the old Scrooge. Comes to his senses, and he goes to his nephew's house, and they let him in, and they're all surprised, and there he is standing there, this ancient character, and they look at him. His nephew greets him kindly, cheerfully. Ebenezer has a smile on his face, and yet he's a bit hesitant. He walks over to his nephew's wife, and he looks at her, and he just ponders, and he states to her and says, "Is there any way that you can forgive an old pig-headed fool that had eyes and couldn't see, and ears and couldn't hear?" And she looks at him and says, "Of course, Uncle Ebenezer, of course." So there we are, folks. And the other character in that time-honored story is our old friend, Tiny Tim, the one with the crutch. Nowadays they call him, of course, I don't know if they'd call him Tiny. That's not politically correct. They couldn't call him a cripple. That's not politically correct either, but just a kindly young man. And his magical words that he says, "God bless us, one and all." How fitting. And there it is, folks. Just another Christmas story. And here we are, Santa, the old curmudgeon as he is. His elves are all asleep right now. Reindeer are resting. They've been fed. And the old curmudgeon, the Santa that he is, here I am just getting ready to sign off and simply say, you can do a lot of things in your life, and it all boils down to just a few things. Just make sure you do well. Just make sure you be good and keep in touch. Don't harm anybody. Be good. Be well. And always remember one thing. Whether or not you play a sport, remember, always be one. Yes, always be a good sport. Once again, thank you for your time. This time, till next time, Merry Christmas to all. It's been indeed a very, very wonderful pleasure to do this once again. Good Lord willing, I'll see you all next year at the same time for another reading of 'Twas the night before Christmas. Good night, everybody. Good luck, and take care. Merry Christmas, guys. Boys and girls, don't forget to put out those some cookies and milk for Santa tonight. See you around, all right? Have a good one. This has been fun. All right. Merry Christmas, everyone, and a Happy New Year.